All right, so we'll start this design process now. Let me open Figma. Oh, I see one more person in the breakout room. Let me. Hello, Astha. Welcome back.
Hello.
Cool. Should be designed for, let's say, design for this.
Should we start with mobile? Because I see people will open this on their mobile.
All right. Okay, let's do mobile. Phone. Let's do this works. All right. Okay, so I'll just maybe make some notes. Do we have, where's a note? UI notes or sticky notes? Let me do a, yeah, let me do this. So what are the things that we said we will have in the
Current book.
what is this font? Okay. Marker felt. Okay, interesting. Okay, this is
Looks good.
okay. So from information hierarchy perspective, we need information architecture, we need current book. What else? We
Top
need
book.
days read, we need top books. What else?
Excerpts का एक section.
Excerpts. Anything else? Let me open the last one as well. कहाँ लिखा था हमने? ये रहा. Log what you read today. ठीक है. So we need a way to log read today. And then we said if missed, send a nudge on some platform. So that does not need to go here. Uske liye we'll need to show, maybe if read, show status, basically success status. If not, maybe add a motivation or something. Motivate to log that and share your profile with excerpts, take a pic. Or I think, yeah, this looks good. We can start with this. Cool.
So days read is the streak, right?
Days read is the
Streak.
streak. It can be a streak. It can also be like a total. So think of that. I have read 10 days in a row versus I have read total for 30 days. I have logged here for 30 days. वैसा.
Something like that GitHub का
Something like
contribution
GitHub.
graph.
Yeah. Oh, GitHub contribution graph. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good UX. GitHub contribution graph. I think we need like a bigger, maybe we'll reduce the font size. Let's do 12. All right. ठीक है, I think overall, does this look good? Should we start?
Yeah.
ठीक है. Let's put it here. अरे अरे क्या हो गया?
Group करना होगा. I think command G. हाँ.
All right. Okay, how do we start? Do we have some templates that we can use here? This feels like a very blank page.
Oh, I came across this plugin H. It was like HTML to Figma or something like that. Let me see.
Let me see what I want. What I want is
HTML to design. So what it does is कोई भी वेबसाइट डालेंगे तो वो Figma में import कर देता है.
अच्छा, but you need to create the HTML first, right?
Yeah, we just need to point to a URL like apple.com, and it will import Apple's website onto Figma.
Got it, got it. But for now, we don't have a visual anything in place, right?
No, no. We have to take inspiration from a lot of places.
Acha, you're saying
The
should we
colors,
send
the
some
font.
inspiration?
Yeah,
ठीक है.
for the colors and fonts simply.
And let's call this inspiration. Let's find out something.
The first thing is Goodreads itself.
First thing,
Goodreads.
yeah, just give me a minute. Can you see my Chrome?
No.
Okay, give me a minute. All right, do you see it now?
Yeah.
Cool. This looks good. Do we have a plugin to take a screenshot for this? All right, we
Yeah.
have screenshot.
Use that plugin. HTML to design.
HTML design.
Yeah, this one.
Okay,
This is the URL.
so this is the URL. This is Figma. It's plugins. So you should be able to find it here, right? HTML to Figma.
HTML to design. Just give me a second. I have to open the file.
Sure. This looks pretty slow. Mhm. Seems like we will be working with screenshots. Let's take screenshot. Hey Bob, this is not working.
Yeah.
This says some error.
We don't need the exact Goodreads thing, right? We can use something that looks similar, maybe. Because
Yeah.
Amazon
This
is kind of maybe does not allow this.
Amazon is more of an e-commerce thing, right? We are looking for.
No, no, I'm saying that Amazon as a company is very into this, like they protect their sites and everything. So maybe we can try a different site which has a similar. We can maybe try Letterbox or something.
Which one? Can you repeat?
letterbox.
Letterbox, also movies. People document what they have seen and
This one?
yeah.
All right, let's try this out. what I would say, let's work on wireframes first. I think we can add designs later. For design, like we can also, like, once you have the wireframes in place, we can also ask other people to chip in with the visual design. We can ask someone for help in visual design, but we need to first finalize how this will look and how the user flow will look like.
Mm.
So let's say this
Mm.
is when you first open this. I think it should just show, we don't need to burden the user. If the user has not logged for that day, we don't need to show anything else. We can just ask the nudge the user to log it. So let's do an avatar here. Okay, how do I? This looks good. Let's say there's an avatar here, middle. Let's say we have user here. Give me a different this thing. All right. And then we have to log. So
there will be two phases to this. One that what the user will see, and the other one the publish profile, what other users will see, right?
oh yes, definitely. Let's design the social one first,
Public.
because that is the other thing where the user enters is it can also be, let's say, something like it can also be manual, it can also be via table, that can be anything, but the public profile needs to be in a way that the user should feel like proud, like they should be proud in sharing it, so it needs to look good. Okay, so we are saying, let me duplicate this. So we are saying there are two things. One is user view, and then the other is social
Public.
view, public view. And public view may you don't need logging. User may तो you'll need everything, but yeah, let's do public first. Let me remove this, put this somewhere else, put it here. All right, so the top one wants to say current book. All right, let's add let's do, maybe let's add like a book image cover here, and then we can have the book name. Verb, can you tell me what book you're reading?
That night.
Which one?
That night. THAP that.
DA?
THAP that night.
That night.
Yeah.
This one? All right.
Yeah.
What is this font? I need something. Let's take it. That night. Let's do it here. We'll play around with the sizes that night. All right. Do you want to show the author? Do we want to? Oh, we have one more person. Hey, Rutik.
Hi.
I'll give you some quick context. So, we are working on a social reader profile, like a modern Goodreads, which is wherein you'll have some proof of work or proof of reading in the profile, instead of just saying, hey, I read this book, you'll also have to share some excerpts that you liked, and yeah, that is how you will make your profile. And then in the user view, you will have an option to either make a particular excerpt public or not. So for marking a day as read, you have to share something from that reading session, whatever you had it that day. But then you'll have an option to either make it public on your profile or not. So that's how we're thinking about it. So this is the social view. You have a name, you have an after you have a name. I think यहाँ पे we should also show something, right, like which is
That's right.
related to like reading for X days, ऐसा कुछ.
Yeah, the streak, right?
The streak, yeah.
So we can do a fire emoji and the number of days.
Yeah. So let's do 18, and then let's do fire emoji. So it sort of says, should we do like a book emoji? What do you feel about? One is this, and the other is this.
So if we are indicating streak, so fire is like the global emoji for streak. Book will give an idea like these much books I have read. So that is not actually indicating the streak. That is maybe indicating how many books I have read.
Got it. I think maybe we can check out how some other platforms do it. Let's say we do something like, how does Makerlog and then there is what are some other communities that have these streaks? I think we can check out GitHub. All right, so they show something like this. I think we should get a screenshot here. Let's do screenshot. How do I make it? How do I bring it into Figma? Inspiration. Okay, we have some. Okay, now I see that we have some design process in place wherein we can see some inspiration. I think this is pretty clear. You have fire, you have number of days. So Inca, how do you know Makerlog? Do they only count like do they reset to 0 the next day if you don't show up? Because 1394 days in a row is pretty awesome.
I think this follows that Duolingo pattern wherein if you miss a day, it's okay, but if you don't come back the other day, then your streak is reset.
Interesting.
I'm not sure.
But even like if doing a 1 day thing, 1394 is like almost 4 years, man. This is crazy. All right. We'll see GitHub as well. GitHub does. Oh, I think GitHub used to do like a streak. Did it remove it? I think it removed it. Let me see GitHub.
I think we can show our streak using a plugin. I have it on my profile.
Acha, what's your
Wahab Sheikh.
Yeah, the Reademy profile.
interesting. 700 contributions. So I think in some sense these are like individual. Like if I have to provide an analogy, this will be like total excerpts.
Yeah.
And then if we disassociate it with the streak, it also allows us you can mark multiple excerpts in a day. I think that is also, I think, yeah, I did not consider we could have multiple excerpts in a day. That makes a lot of sense. So I think this is pretty cool. This also is fire current streak and longest streak. I also like this. Interesting. Okay, I'll just copy this for now. getting good inspiration. All right. Anything else we should see? GitHub streak image. Yeah, this is how it used to look before. I'll just copy this as well. Anything else we should see for getting an idea of how people show streaks? Any other platform you might have come across? Astha, Rutik.
Snapchat,
Snapchat. Oh, okay.
the OG streak
Snapchat streaks
platform.
look like maker block streaks only. They have those fire emojis and numbers similar.
Got it. What are these? Like there are two things here. One is fire, then there is like a combination of two things.
No. So fire one is the streak, and that is like your last message or something. I don't know.
Acha,
Because
acha.
Snapchat is with people, no? Like you have streaks with multiple people. You don't have like your streak. It's with like you can have streak with someone which is for
Oh,
many days.
yeah, that's a major
Someone, like,
difference.
yeah.
Got it. ठीक है, then we can bring this as well. Yeah, we can have this.
Because Snapchat streak is both ways. Like if both people respond, then it's a streak.
Yeah, that is crazy. Yes, I think we're going with fire. That is pretty much clear. And then we said this could be like the total number of books you have read. Just think out loud here. Do you want to keep that? Because that also sort of becomes a vanity metric. Number of books read. Like someone who comes and sees that this person has read 30 books, 40 books, versus someone just comes and says they have been reading for days. I would say we can just remove that. What are your thoughts?
It is a vanity metric, but it can also like help people know like if someone's a beginner or if someone has been reading for long. So I think that's also like can do different things.
Right. Beginner में वो भी है ना कि it also depends on the quality of books. You could read 10 very simple books versus you can read you can pick what, I don't know, Feynman's last lecture or something. You can pick something like that, and that might be harder.
Yeah.
So I'll just maintain a decision log for this. Let me duplicate this. I'll just say decision log, removing number of points as its vanity metric. Okay, so we'll remove that. What else can we show here? So 18 days, we are saying this person has been reading for 18 days. What else? We'll go back to inspiration. So 18 days straight, and then we also want to say number of excerpts. I think that might be a good thing, because in some way you are putting a stamp of your approval that you found this interesting. So let me duplicate this. Let's say you're reading for 18 days and you have, let's say, 25. Okay. What could be a good emoji for excerpts? I think it could be yeah, I think this, either this, right? Either this, or it could also be a camera of some sort.
It could be also a light bulb also, like the idea from that method book.
Interesting. Let me just start both, how they look. Which camera looks best? I think the first one looks. Who just select?
Just a suggestion. Since this is a log, so what if we put an actual log, the wooden log?
Yeah, can you repeat?
Since this is the number of these logs, na, so wooden wala log ka emoji.
Wooden log. Let me see if we have a wooden. Actually, this one.
Yeah.
Crazy. Okay, we have 3. Let me just move these 2 things, throw it down.
Can we use that scroll emoji, because I think it gives a sense of like, something you've written and
Which emoji?
like a paragraph. The scroll basically.
Cool. Yeah.
Scroll. Actually, this one.
Yeah.
Interesting.
This is good.
Like it looks like a paragraph, like you've chosen a paragraph. So
Right. We had one more idea, right? I missed that.
Light bulb views.
Light bulb.
Right. But
Cool. Yeah, I think that the fourth one looks best. This is because writing it feels like that you are adding your own comments, which is not the case.
exactly.
Camera is like taking a photo. This is something if you want to differentiate between physical notes or digital notes, maybe we can have 2 if we want to differentiate. If not, then yeah, I think this is a very clear thing.
Mhm.
So let me just add this in the decision log as well. Okay, I copy this all. Okay, copy. Keeping scroll emoji. Excerpts out of. Or maybe I can also duplicate this frame. I think that also tells a decision. I think that makes it easier to iterate. Let me just remove these things. Yeah, cool. So now this is done. These 4 are gone. Any other number that we need to put it? So we are saying we have read for 18 days and we have captured 25 excerpts. Okay,
We
so
can actually put the book as well, like these many excerpts from these many books.
but does that matter? Like if you have read one book, usme se you have 100 excerpts versus 10 books and 10 excerpts, would that matter? So basically, excerpts is something you are saying that I've found it interesting. Does it matter from a viewer perspective कि वो कितने books हैं?
how are we like when a user starts, what do they do first? Do they document all the books they have read initially?
They don't need to document anything that they have read previously. They can just start from that day, and we'll design that view as well. It will come in the user view wherein you just start from that day what you have read from that day, and to mark as that you have completed for that day, you need to add an excerpt, either take a pic or copy paste if you're reading from a digital thing.
Going back to them choosing like paragraphs, and
Yeah. So up to them if they want to add
I don't
previous.
think anyone would do that.
Going back.
Yeah, but if we're not doing that, then the number of like if we're just starting, this is the initial starting point. Are we assuming like day 0 for the users as well?
Give me 1 minute. It is breaking.
I am going ahead with that assumption.
Can you hear me? Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, my Wi-Fi got disconnected. Yeah, I couldn't listen to the last point that you mentioned.
No, I was just saying that I think we are like conflating two goals here. One of our goal is like to make a social reading profile, like and the other goal is like kind of the habit, right? Like people are logging in daily. So if you're going towards the logging in bit, then it does not matter like for people to log in the previous books they have read. But if we're trying to create a social thing, where like it's a reading profile, then that is the most important thing, right? That people log in whatever they have read, because then it is not like then the profile will be incomplete forever if they don't do that.
True. In some sense, both are linked only. They are not independent because
Yeah, they're not independent, but like some has to take priority. That is what I'm saying.
right. So from priority perspective, logging is the thing we want to give more priority to, because social profile is just a means to that end only, that people read more, people log more. For showcasing, in some sense, Goodreads already exist, wherein you can like prefill, like backfill all of your previously read books and all that. This is more of, let's say if you start today and you want to keep a track of what you're reading, maybe share some insights from what you're reading to other people, and especially for people uh, in the Reademy community, wherein we are doing some 30-day reading challenges. So they can just start from there, forget about whatever they have read in the past. If they want, they can add that. That is up to them. But from a usability perspective, we'll assume that nobody will go and backfill anything. They will the starting point, or like what I have in mind, when does this profile locks in or unlocks, is when any person has, or anyone has added 10 excerpts, then this sort of like a social profile unlocks. So we have like two views. One is user view, wherein they can just sort of just show up that day, add something. When they have added for 10 different days, then only we sort of unlock this social profile for them, which is shareable.
Cool, that makes sense.
So we have 18, so 25 excerpts. I think this is pretty clear. This is total 18 days. I have a question here. This is this streak, or are we okay saying this is like, it's okay if you take 7-day break in between? I think this is a product decision that you have to think about. And if you go in these inspirations, so Snapchat sort of just gets you back to zero, right? It doesn't care about whether it is 10 or 20 or 100 or 200. I think it just gets you back to zero. And Snapchat's also aim is engagement. So they have like zero incentive to reward you if you stop showing up. If you stop showing up for a week or for a month, you are dead to Snapchat. Snapchat doesn't care about you because it cannot sell you anything. It cannot do anything with you. So in this case, of course, this makes sense to reset to zero. GitHub shows longest streak and current streak. So in this case, so this sort of is sort of your past proof of work, wherein you can say that you were active some time back, even though you are not now, or maybe it might be a smaller streak right now. And then you are doing that, and there's a total contributions. Total contribution is sort of like a analogous to the total number of excerpts that is there. What else? So
If we use the fire emoji, it would convey the Snapchat kind of streak only. If we want to like change that, also have to change the emoji maybe, because people already have that in their mind that this is what this means.
right. So I'm thinking if we can add one more number there, then should it be the longest reading streak, or should it be the total number of days? I think so. Now it boils down to, do we want people to read, like show up daily? Should that be the goal of the app? Or are we okay if people read alternate day? I think that is what it boils down to. Like if people are reading alternate day, then we need to capture the number of days read. If you want people to show up every day, then we need to capture the streaks. Rutik, what do you think?
I think if you're thinking about building habits, then I think streak would be the right choice. Like I want the streak to go to zero. So that kind of will be like the motivation thing for me that I continuously read.
Right. Well, one thing also is that once you miss for one day, it snowballs really fast. Before you know it, your habit is gone. So I think from a habit perspective, the streak makes sense. So then maybe we can just keep it simple. We can just have a longer streak. We can just like start with this only. So if we do something, so this is like 18 and current. This is the current streak. And if we had something more like maybe sometime in the past, we did a I don't know, we did a 30-day streak. And then this is like the longest streak. So then this could be something like something like this, something like a medal. Or instead of that, we can also do some badges, like Audible does. Let me see if I can find Audible badges. So yeah, some checkpoints. I feel like this becomes a lot complex if you include this. Like then there's no upper limit to the complexity here. And then there's another Apple Fitness badges. Let me see if I can find an image which is better.
Even GitHub has a badge.
Where does it have it? This one?
Yeah.
Sure. Like this feels like So in our case, there's only one type of activity, right? In GitHub's case, you can do either a commit, you can do a pull request, you can do I think you can leave a review on someone else's pull request. There are, I think, 4 types of activities you can do. Commits, PRs, you can create an issue somewhere. There are different ways to you can create an issue, you can actually commit, you can review someone's code, you can do a pull request. There are 4 axes of contribution. In our case, there's only one thing. Like we are not promoting that the other person goes and likes your review or whatever. We're just saying, just you do yours.
I think
So
YouTube play buttons are like kind of a good analogy because they're very clear and the milestones are very clear.
right.
What you have to do to achieve them, and there's like just one thing, which is being shown.
Makes sense. It's YouTube, milestone, YouTube play button.
They're physical, but we can.
So we have, yeah, I think this is a cool. We can have something like, let's say you do a 1 day तो बहुत कम हो जाएगा, 3 days 7, maybe we can have like the first batch as 7 day, then a 30 day, then a 100 day,
365.
and a 365 day. I think like we can start with these 4 batches. Let me just copy this thing. I think this is a pretty cool thing. So we can say thoda sa we'll need to do a pill sort of a design, and do like how it will look like, something like this, and then this needs to have rounded corners. Yeah, something like this. Let me group them. So we need a way how to look like, but yeah, overall it should look something like, let's say this is a 7. You have achieved a 7 thing, then you have 30. We need to see how do we show disabled state and everything, but let's say for someone who has achieved all, could look like 100, 30 to 100. That's like a pretty big jump. And 365. So basically 365 we were just sort of offloading ki haan, we will design the next thing after 1 year. Because yeah, you really can't. Let me do tidy up. All right. Cool. This looks nice. This feels like you have a very good direction on what do you need to move up in this. It's almost like levels, and the levels are like very clearly defined. You're saying 7 day, 30 days. I like the difficulty level. It's almost like you are going 730. It is like 3-4 times 30 to 100 again, 3 times,
Yeah.
165 3 times. Yeah, I think overall I like this. I think this, like this, from a, we can work with visuals, but from a overall information perspective, this looks good. Like this section, we can move to the book section, but yeah, this looks good. How do you feel about this?
Looks good.
Cool. Okay, so now, so since this is a social profile, do you want to show the latest book which is being read at the top, or would you want to highlight one of your favorite books at the top? So one is the user view. User view में तो अलग चीज होगा, but from a social view, would you want the book that you're currently reading to be at the top, or your best book that you feel? Let me see. That night, Wahab, who's the author here?
Nidhi Upadhyay.
The Upadhyay.
So can we have, like, whatever we decide on, can we have it on the cover, like the cover image?
Cover image as in where?
Like every social media website would have a cover image and a profile image, right? Even if you open Twitter. So instead of uploading cover images, we can have like customized to our use case, that the currently read book is on the cover image, or our top 3 books are on the cover image.
How would this image be generated?
We can generate it like from a div, we can take a snapshot of that div and generate it. So basically, dynamic banners work this way only.
Right. So I'm just thinking the banners sort of work wherein you have content to post. In this case, like last session we were discussing, right? The good feeds, good read ka jo feed hai, that doesn't really add a lot of value. So then instead of like, I'm not sure if you should put it in the cover image, because this that is the core only. The books are the core only. If you, let's say on Twitter, if you want to add books, maybe as an add-on we can give something like, hey, here is a cover that you can use on your different social profiles, wherein we can add a link to this social profile as well. Check out what I'm reading at this URL. But yeah, from this thing, I don't think we should do a cover image, because that is the content only. Like, that is what is meant to see. You meant to see that only in the bottom things. Okay, so let's do that night. Then book review rating. I think now we should add an excerpt somewhere, because I think that is what we are saying is the core of the app. It could either be an image, let's say if it's a text. Verb, do you have like a excerpt that you can share in the chat?
I might have on this side. Give me a minute.
Yeah, sure. So now should it be up or below? And in some sense, I'm thinking like this thing should not take itna sara space. Like, excerpt should be the first citizen, what do you call it, the
We can show only like the cover of the book. That would convey both the name and the author, right?
yeah, let me sort of do something like this. We'll make it small. Make this and this. Let's see कैसा दिखता है excerpt के साथ. But yeah, we can have something like this is the main excerpt, and the book is just a way. It could either be a cover, or at the end it can also be something like this as well. That night by Matthew Upadhyay. It could be something like as simple as this as well. Let's see how that looks. Okay, we have the excerpt. Is it an excerpt?
Yeah, it's like apart from it.
This feels like an introduction. I don't know. This feels like a teaser to this book. Like, is this part of the book?
Yeah, it's a part of the book.
Oh man.
In fact, they gave away the main idea on the cover page itself, like the back page. If they would have kept that as a secret as well, it would have been even more interesting to read.
Okay. Testing. Let me. Okay, how to preserve the formatting? Pura formatting chala gaya.
Control Shift V.
Control Shift V. नहीं.
नहीं होगा.
ठीक है, let me rearrange this stuff. Oops.
Just control or command on. You're using Mac. Right? Command Shift.
Yeah, I tried Command Shift V. Let me see if I have. plain text तो नहीं है. Yeah, I don't know. ठीक है, I'll just manually format it. Let me give me a minute.
किसी और का दे देता ना,
Yeah,
काफी लोग हैं।
yeah, give me a new excerpt.
डिस्कॉर्ड पे तो एक ही है। I'll post your excerpt over here, the God
हाँ,
edition.
हाँ, works. Quick question. Do you want the author or not? Now I'm thinking the author could also be just like removed. Like if I'm interested in the excerpt, then maybe this book name could be just a clickable thing. It could redirect to Goodreads or something. Like if I'm reading the excerpt, do I really care about the author? I'm not sure.
No, I don't think what author would be like. Like the name would be sufficient, I think, because we want to see the book, not the author. We'll see the book and then we'll find out what the author.
Yeah. So I'll just write here. Okay, we have something in the chat. Okay, we have one more thing. Okay, let me just add this as well. Let me duplicate this. So if you're saying we'll remove this.
Do we have like a limit for the words you can use as an excerpt? Because we don't have that, then that space would be very like not uniform basically.
Right.
I think we need to also define that if we are like telling users to copy and paste excerpts. If they're clicking pictures, that's a different story altogether. But if we're like doing excerpts this way, we need to define how many words or like lines maybe they can copy paste.
If
So if you want to allow users to click picture, why not have an Instagram like feed itself? Like we can convert the excerpt to an image, but it's harder to convert an image to text.
interesting. Yeah, this is a good thing. Like we don't need text at all. If someone is giving uh, a photo, we can just showcase that, versus if someone is giving a text, we can convert that to an image. And I think we're already doing that on our social profiles already. We'll do the same thing. And yeah, I think I'm sold on this, that let's do in some sense images are also, they're more inviting to read versus plain text. Yeah, like I can just see this, like versus if this was in an image, I would be more likely to read this. It is more, yeah, the aesthetics sort of are inviting. Okay, so then we'll say we're doing a feed. Okay, so we're sort of creating Instagram then. Okay, can we have an image for this? Can you just pick one or two images from our Instagram or Twitter? Read 30x30 bot.
How would I paste? I'll
Just
send you on Discord.
share on.
Discord.
Can just share the link here. I'll just copy and paste here. You just
Yeah,
share the link in the chat. All right, we have something when we really want to change. Cool. So let's do copy image. Let's do. Let me get this and paste this. All right, cool. But would this be readable on a mobile device? I'm not sure. Can you open this in your
So we
mobile?
can, yeah, so we can have a small thumbnail on the initial view, and when we click on one, it will expand up.
Let me quickly see it in my view. Can you repeat again what we were saying?
Like Instagram, we can have a thumbnail on the initial view, but when we click on it, it will expand up.
Acha. Okay. We have two more in the chat. Let's get them as well.
One already.
What?
It's one already.
Oh.
We're about.
Yeah, I think we'll wrap it up. I think this is more of an iterative process. I think once we have something going, it also subconsciously we are thinking like I'm thinking about it in my other things as well, and then yeah, we can continue it later. So let me just expand this. So from a aesthetic perspective, I really like this because it feels very polished. Well, of course, the top layout and these things will get better, but I like this. I like this design a lot. Um, it sort of adapts to the cover image, colors, and yeah, I like this. Cool. So this is. Let me just quickly see how it looks on my mobile. Actually, this is the same thing how it looks on our Instagram, right? So I think that is readable in some sense. So this should be okay. So then we'll go with this only. I think yeah.
We'll even have normal pictures of the book, right? I'll just post one. So there's someone posting normal pictures as well.
Normal picture as in, can you give an example?
Like click from a physical book, not the poster.
Got it. So let me quickly mirror it. Click on this mirror.
Pasted it on the chat.
What?
Oh, sorry, that's
Okay.
wrong one.
This is same only. Acha. Ah, interesting. Copy image. We need to sort of define the length, what do I say? The size of this. I think this sort of goes into that unreadable wala mode because there's a lot of content. So we can of course reduce it on the from a width perspective. We can rescale this, but
while uploading, we can basically give a prompt to the user that please try to crop only the content that we want to share rather than the whole page.
right. Yeah, so then that becomes an additional complexity in the reader app. And also like for this particular image, there's a lot of white space on the bottom and top. So do we want to like just capture this particular middle thing, or do we keep a full page? I think there's something. Good thing is if you're working on mobile, we have the width already figured out. So we can just scale. We can just like aspect ratio wise, just scale it down to that level, and whatever it feels, we can show a preview to the user, and then user can just select whether they want to show it on their public profile or not. But I think this looks great as a V1 because it captures how many days you have read. Badges will figure out. The codes are already, we can integrate it directly from our tools as well as these. We just need to put them in Airtable, and we'll make it. This is looks good. One thing that we need to figure out now is we want to have a dynamic URL, something like a example.com/profile/Rutik, let's say. So we need to explore. What do you want to explore now? Do you want to explore tomorrow? We want to explore key.
Let's do it. Let's do tomorrow.
Okay. Tomorrow, what time do you want to sit?
Ideally in the late evening, late afternoon.
Okay. Okay. Let's discuss. Let's finalize. Yeah. Okay. So basically, now we want to explore if all of this data is in Airtable, if these images are in Airtable, which we will upload it. So now, वहाँ से how do we generate a dynamic URL? Ideally from a no code tool. Because that's the easiest way to maintain, and we just want to experiment, right? We don't know whether this profile will actually help or nudge people to read more or not. So to test that out, let's see if we can release a we can just like ask, we can pick 3 codes from each user. I think that data we already have of our power users from the last month. So let's say we can just generate 5-10 profiles by tomorrow and how good they look. And yeah, we'll release that then. Let's see how that goes.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool, folks. That was about it. We're like sort of designing this in public. Let's see how that goes. And yeah, if you have any suggestions, you can continue. Like just you can DM us with your thoughts, and yeah, let's see how that rolls. Cool.
Hey, I wanted to say something. Like I was about to join the Reademy code, but actually it's not like the payment is not working. Like it's getting declined. So I was going to DM like, is there any other way out?
Acha.
If
See
it's
if
not accepting
see
the-
if any of your friends has a credit card. That
okay, so it's not accepting debit cards, right? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's on
I thought
Gumroad.
yours-
So the thing is that Gumroad handles a lot of stuff. So I don't have a viable alternate for that yet. And I think the current cohort also, there were 1-2 people who said the debits did not work. So see if your friend has a credit card, or I think that person also got it working with their Paytm card. Like I don't know, Paytm has a card of their own. Yeah. So just see if that works. If you have a friend who has a credit card, that's the best way to go about it. Cool. All right, folks, then most likely we'll have a follow-up session tomorrow for the building one. Since you have joined, so you'll get a calendar invite for sure. Yeah, if you're free, just we can hang around tomorrow as well. Okay, have a good weekend. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.